Hello, I'm just going to cover. I wanted to do a video. I want to cover part of Ryan's video from yesterday.
The faith movement destroyed. There's so much destroyed in just those.
It's all about the gospel.
That it is not embarrassing. And again, that's why us now are even more blessed, because we've not seen these miracles. We've not even seen the
no. We have to totally trust by faith and cannot do as the Lord's disciples did, where they physically handled him. They ate with him. They saw him. They touched him. And that was not the case with us. It looks like Mike McGregor bounced out, but he's back. So we have the Luke Boozer rejects anoint.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to our world, Michael. Welcome to the world of unanointed, drunken, peasant, horrible, evil people who just trust in Christ alone.
Hey, it's good to see you guys.
Hello.
Yeah, it feels like I just got kicked in the butt by Luke Boozer.
Yeah,
welcome to the club. Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, me and you talked the other night. I was shopping last night, man. So I apologize if I didn't talk with you when you messaged me. But
I was going to have a stream so you could tell your story, but Bill messaged me and said, "Could you go live?" So I did. Since I didn't hear from you, though, I figured we'd have to do that another time. What we could do is tell your story here, and we can just edit it out and post it as a separate video.
I'll be okay with that. I did a video on why I got down in the first place.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that video was only so long, and frankly, it wasn't you. You mentioned it was part your autism and part Luke. No, that was all Luke.
Oh, really?
That's how Luke works. He would actually have manipulated it in the way of saying, well, no, actually, we have to get rid of him because he can't understand because of his autism. He'll never actually say that.
That is discrimination, right? So whoever this Luke is, that is discrimination. Shouldn't discriminate against anyone.
To your face, but that's what he would say privately or what he's thinking.
Okay, because there was another panel member on there in the congregation. She actually wasn't aware that I was being banned from the church. She just found out about it yesterday. So I'm actually quite surprised that went around her back too, because she's one of the moderators that's working with me.
Well, and I found where you got banned. You went on as a sock account, to try to participate with the chat. And Renee Rowland very condescendingly told you that you were not supposed to be there.
That's what she said to me.
And the thing is, you can't see it. It was blocked in the chat, but it was actually on their last stream about just before the hour mark. And what was funny...
I'm against Lordship Salvation, as people know. I do like Ryan. I'm going to cover a short bit of this and then I'll end it. But no one should discriminate. And I'm sorry, he can't help. He's got autism, right? And that church he was with shouldn't discriminate.
Is that they allowed someone in the chat, someone I don't particularly care for, Saved Sinner or Michael Murphy, to criticize Luke's unorthodox views of James, but you that got slandered, kick him.
The reason why they banned me is because I was told that I was not supposed to bring up the word sin in the chat, because it was a pretty iffy topic for me to talk about, because it's a triggering word. They noticed over the past several months that when I bring it up, I start talking about my personal sins.
Do you want us to be on?
The best thing what he should have done, not tell the church his problems. Yes, we all struggle with different sins. Just pray to the Lord. Like an online church shouldn't have banned him if it was a physical church, but in America, maybe most states or some states have closed churches, so that's a problem. Where in Australia, churches are open, church buildings, but people have to wear a mask, I think. So that's why I haven't been to a church building at the moment, but he shouldn't be discriminated against. I don't support that sort of behaviour, and we all struggle with sin. Everyone does, but maybe he shouldn't have said anything and just pray to the Lord, confess his sins. But if he's trusting the true gospel, he's saved. And the problem with a lot of churches, they give a Romans 10 false gospel. And that's a problem. But also, God is a fair God. Some people who have severe disabilities and they can't understand, well, and when babies die at the age of understanding, or children die at the age of understanding, they go to heaven because God is a just God. And that's what I believe.
Honest with you, Michael.
Yeah, sure.
The honest truth is you're banned because you're a sinner or have inclined to a sin that they particularly don't like. I don't mind certain sinners, but other sinners they don't like. And because you're autistic, they know they can literally whitewash and roll all over you. And knowing, and I believe you've got a good heart, and I believe.
But really, that church should be sued for discrimination, as far as I'm concerned, because whatever that guy is, his name is, he shouldn't have been discriminated against.
I do have a good heart, even though that I of course have struggles and
but they take the time to that. That's the truth.
Every human being has struggles, right? And a saved person has two natures, right? And we're all fallen. That's why Jesus came to die on the cross, and the condition of salvation is Jesus, nothing else. It is Christ alone. It's all about that gospel, right? Faith that he died for your personal sins, was buried and rose again on the third day. And also, it says to trust in his shed blood, Romans 3:25, right? And also we accept Jesus as a personal savior by faith. It's all about what Christ did, right? Salvation is the condition of salvation is Jesus, nothing else.
Taking advantage of your goodness, of your autistic spectrum, and sin of a particular they don't like. It's that simple.
Well, and
I mean, what was happening is that I kept bringing the word sin, the exact word sin up in the chat, and I was told not to because it's a trigger word for me to talk about other sins that bring the attention of the chat towards me. And then they start talking about that, and then it brings the attention away from the Bible studies. And that was told by Brother Luke not to bring that up or it'd be banned. And it's clear that happens.
Luke is a hypocrite because every time he prays, he inserts himself. He tells pornographic jokes on the panel, openly talks about his adultery on the panels. And if you criticize that, you're out. As well.
So that Luke, right, if he's trusting in a Romans 10 gospel, he's lost anyway. right? Now we're all sinners, okay? But my beef with Luke, I don't know these people, only Ryan, but my beef is discriminating against a disabled person, and I don't like that, right?
Renee is an open lesbian. So why are they crapping all over you?
Well, I see the hypocrisy in it because I am like kind of gay at the same point, and they have Renee on channel.
Okay, he's gay. Well, anyway, I'm against sodomy and all that, but we're all sinners. If only he is taught the true gospel, and there's a lot of people all over the world who has all different disabilities, and but I don't like people discriminating against anyone, right? And I don't like how he was discriminated against.
That's a little joke. I didn't interject a joke there for it.
I didn't hear what you said, Bill. Two people were talking. I couldn't make out.
Oh yeah, I was doing a word of faith movement, and I was being facetious, and I said, "Be gone, gayness, be gone."
Well, I guess that's what Luke does. If you won't watch his playlists, or if you disagree with him, or you're an easy target, he'll throw you away. You know, Luke threw me away because Paul Frudivore started a bunch of mess between Renee and myself. Recognizing what had happened, I went to Renee to deal with those issues between her and I alone. Luke then kicked me the hell up out and wouldn't even talk to me. In fact, he sent it to an email address that I don't have. But whoever keeps making all that noise, please mute.
Sorry, that was me. I just opened a window.
Well, I don't know what you keep doing, but when you...
Anyway, I'll try and find out from Ryan one day who is this Luke guy. But he sounds that the Luke guy shouldn't discriminate against anyone.
Move around like that, it's quite loud. Your mic's picking it up very strongly. But the point I was saying is that Luke wanted me to apologize to Renee, which I had already done, and tried to say, for my involving myself in that, I would apologize. But I'm not going to apologize because another person manipulated me so that I would attack Renee as his proxy, being Paul Frudivore. And for Luke, that I wouldn't slobber all over Renee's toes meant that I got kicked out, even though I had already apologized to her for becoming involved with that and spreading the lies that Paul was saying at the time, that Renee's kids were being neglected, that Renee was a bad mom and all this and all that.
Anyway, the most important thing, I'm going to go shortly. I'll probably about 5 or 10 minutes at my commentary, but everyone struggles with sin, right?
Got her channel inflated by Bill, which was a lie. And that got me thrown the heck up out by Luke. Meanwhile, he totally downplayed his thoughts about Calvinism. But, you know, I was Luke's son. I was like a son to Luke. And then, bam, he wouldn't even answer my phone calls.
That's an amazing phenomenon. You find that Meta Win Zero and some of the others were like a son to Luke, and then, you know, if they slightly disagreed with Luke, oh Lord Almighty, they're no longer a son, but they are a bastard. And they're cast asunder like.
Oh yeah, you know. And again, Matthias, he tried to blame Matthias talking doctrine for his channel being taken down. Matthias erred in that he did.
And there's many people all over the world who has autism, and I don't like people who discriminate against anyone, including people who have autism.
Didn't understand fair use law. That was his deal. But even though Matthias nearly had convinced the copyright striker, who rightly struck for in breach of his photography, to let it go, Luke came storming in the emails with his manipulative, condescending talk, and the guy just decided, you know what, the easiest thing for me to do here is to just flag the channel. So he flagged Luke's channel, and that was that. But Matthias got blamed for it when it wasn't Matthias, and that's to say nothing of the hundreds of thousands of hours Matthias was pumping in there. I mean, imagine that. Luke used to call me up and talk about how he was upset that Matthias was wearing himself thin, doing Renee's shows, doing Luke's shows, doing other shows, as well as CES. And then Matthias gets thrown under the bus.
Amazing. We're so under the bus.
But if these people trust in the true
But
gospel, then they would be truly saved.
Daniel
But-
and
but-
Matthias and
but-
Mike, you.
If I'm sure Ryan does anyway, and I know he used to be in Ed's camp, and I do like Ryan, and once someone's saved, they're saved.
And me on a panel, and we can call it Thrown Under the Sin City Preacher Bus.
The simple fact is,
Well, I'm not the first person to be banned by Luke.
No, you don't.
There's
Probably
been other
not me.
people. Other
Oh,
people.
no. Luke has banned basically everyone from his life. Everyone. There is not a single person Luke still has anything to do with that he knew in 2008 when he was first coming on the scene. Not one.
Well, me and Luke used to actually be quite close about a year or two ago. He was actually talking to me about some of the problems I had and actually trying to address them within the CES congregation.
yeah.
And now it goes around in my back and it kicks me out of his life. Like, it's an ongoing pattern with him.
You've got the same problem as me. You're a human, and you actually have genuine, unnarcissistic emotions. And when you're dealing with like a cult, and I call it for, let's call a spade, a cult leader who is a complete narcissist, and completely emotionally.
If they have a false gospel, right? Romans 10 is a cult, right? And majority churches have a false gospel. Romans 10 never saves anyone, and Edward PF 123 has salvation correct. I'm going to stay for a few minutes or so, and when I'm ready to go, ready to stop, I will.
Be attached from anyone else's feelings. These things happen. It happened to Mecca Wing Zero, happened to Wayne Crook, happened to me, happened to. I mean, I could go on for about half an hour of the list of people that were drawn in, thinking Luke was some kind of real kind old boy, and full of love and mercy and compassion, and showing forth abundantly the grace of God. But trust me, within a year or so, you disagree with him, disagree with his cultish mentality and his narcissism and his persuasion of the scriptures according to himself. That's it. You are nothing. You don't even exist. And so I said, welcome to our world.
Well, not only so, Luke sent an email to me. He couldn't even call me despite having my phone number. Oh, speaking of phone calls, someone else is calling me. Hold on. Yep.
Anyway,
I just wanted to add, are you there still?
I am.
What they also do, they have this rule where if someone within the congregation or chat keeps going off topic, they time them out for about 300 seconds. So this means you can't comment, you can't talk to anyone. And then if you keep being a distraction, like they do it for moderating, but I really think that they kind of, like, a church wouldn't actually do something like that unless they were.
It's not a church. It's a shame that they even call themselves church, meaning the ecclesia, the
Well,
body of
I find them at church because they do teach the gospel, right? They have questions. They have.
Well, if it's the 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4 gospel, and the Romans 3:23-28 about the shed blood, right, and faith, and not of works, right, that's part of the gospel.
They interact with each other, but I think they're a little bit. My mom says it kind of sounds a bit legalistic.
the cultish. That what we call them is
I don't like
grace
cults.
legalists. You get lordship salvation legalists. You get legalists on any spectrum within denominational stroke Christendom.
Mm-hmm.
There is a spirit of legalism behind it. There's no open. They'd like to say they're open and they give liberty and all this. That liberty, that blah 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 blah.
Liberty, unity, and charity, and all things.
But they offer none of them because liberty, you can't even mention sins. There's your liberty gone. Charity.
You can't disagree with Luke, which is the whole thing. You disagree with Luke, or you disagree with the second and third wave feminists when they roll in moderators like Lisa for the Most High, and you're out.
Yeah, and Heather Bridgman, she's quite strict. I mean, she's actually timed me out and shadow banned me a few times, like I couldn't comment.
Oh, and let's also remember Victoria Sharp.
But there's people on there, they elevate more higher than other people. Like if you have less experience, you can't be.
Yeah. Does not James? I know that this is why
there's nothing wrong with this church, but I find that they
Let's go
really
ahead.
have messed
let me
up
say
in
what I need to
a
say.
lot of areas.
This is why
Bill say what he wants to say. This is an important point.
this is why Luke hates James. To the point that he doesn't fully, but semi says it's not within the canon, the canonicity of Scripture, is because James deals with these hypocrisy. He deals with the fact that there's favoritism. James deals with that. James deals with the fact that the tongue is like a flaming issue there. It causes so much harm. James deals with a lot of practicalities that ought to be going on within the church, and obviously Luke does not adhere to these things. He doesn't adhere to basic common practice within the ecclesia. This is why he hates James. He makes the excuse and say, "Oh, James is work salvation. James is this. James shouldn't be in the camp. James is this." Now, the fact of the matter is, he doesn't like James because James will stop him dead with his cultish behaviour, his favoritism, his backbiting, his slandering us, and all the nonsense that he gets away with because he thinks he's got a pass because he's older. And James kills that dead. And he hates James, I believe, and I've seen this for many years, because of that. Because it would. If James was alive now, and we are literally back in the day, in the early church, James would rebuke Luke so harshly, humiliate him, not in a horrible way, but humiliate him in regard to his unecclesiological ways, his uncompassionate ways, his unforbearance towards others, and the stuff that Luke would be humiliated. And he doesn't want to suffer that humiliation because he's 40 and he knows best. This is the real reason,
So he's younger than me. Then if he's only 40, he's younger than me.
And spiritually speaking, why Luke really doesn't like James, because it really grabs him by the collar and says, "No, this is not how the church ought to be run. This is uncompassionate. This is actually wrong on all counts." That's why he doesn't like James. There's a truth spoken there.
Well, let's also add to that. we don't at the Ecclesia Doctrine Show, and since I'm part of it and I'm one half of it, Bill's another half of it. We're going to have also Brother Jason Burns coming in pretty regularly if he can. We don't care what you watch. That's none of our purview. We're just a Bible study.
Sure.
We don't care if you want to even watch the nutty Jehovah's Witness doctrines of CES. Do so until your eyeballs roll out and the invisible rapture Jesus actually finally comes in 2023 when he doesn't actually come, because that's how the Jehovah's Witnesses work. We don't have...
Jehovah's
Let
Witness is
me
a
finish
false
my
cult.
point. Hey,
Okay.
come on. We don't need to have private back panels where we tell people what to do with their lives and whether or not they can come on our channel. Much less do we say, well, young man, you can watch Bill's channel or you can watch this one.
That's so childish and so immature, and it's supposed to be, we're supposed to be beyond all these rudiments. But man, most of this stuff, and this is what frustrates.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. But anyway, I like Ryan, and Jesus saves, and we all have. Everyone has struggles, so we all have. Every human being is a sinner. Only Jesus is sinless, and everyone, no matter who we are, we're all sinners. Even saved, with the people who have their faith in that gospel are saved sinners. We all have our struggles. Some have better walks than others, Christian walks. No one's a better Christian. Okay, I want to show Ryan my commentary video, and I like Ryan. Okay, thank you. Hello, Prover. I just wanted to do that, but yeah. Okay, mate. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go now. Okay, bye, mate. Bye.